So this FTX thing is not going away. Now the FUD has bled into Binance.
So many issues about trust and credibility and integrity in this space. And I want to talk about FTX in a moment, but I want to start with what's happening at your own firm, given the outflows this week. I saw that you said on an AMA, this is one of these Ask Me Anything, you said there's no amount of withdrawals that would put us under any pressure. But that, I think, is a very...
So he's wanting to speak. He's been holding his lips shut. They're not tight-lipped as if to actually hold something back. He's tight-lipping because he doesn't want to speak out of turn. He's being polite.
Very bold statement to be making. How are people and why should people trust that their money is safe at this point?
So I think thanks, Andrew, for having me. And the well-run crypto exchanges should hold user assets one-to-one. So user deposit Bitcoin, we hold it in Bitcoin, we move to a cold wallet, we keep some in the hot wallet. And people, they sell it. Now the Bitcoin belongs to somebody else, but we still hold it in the cold storage.
So at the beginning of this, he takes in a deep breath. Then he loosens it up, and he gets into the answering this question. We see some negative head motions as he grabs each description. Cold wallets, non-cold wallets. You sell it, it becomes someone else's. The negative is going with that because his mind is saying it doesn't matter in what stage the transaction is in. He says he's holding it one-to-one. And his body is flowing with him as it agrees with the descriptions that's coming across. His mouth speaketh, his body actually acts it out, which is the best thing you can have when you're talking about honesty. Because bodies and minds like to agree with each other. And when they don't, that's when we see all the stress.
People can withdraw 100% of the assets they have on Binance. We will not have an issue in any given day.
There's your honesty right there. He has no stress. We don't even have a believe me look. We've got body movement. It's flowing. He's talking with his body. He's not portraying. He's just being honest.
So 100% of the users withdraw 100% of the assets, we'll be fine. This is very different for traditional financial people to understand because banks run on fractional reserves. And the traditional regulators, many of them may think that it's okay for crypto businesses to be running on fractional reserves. That is not okay. In crypto, there's no central bank printing money to bail out banks when there's a liquidity crunch. So crypto businesses have to hold user assets one-to-one. And that's what we do. It's very simple.
Okay, but let me ask you about that specifically, and I don't want to get too technical, but indulge me for a moment. When you had what seemed to be liquidity issues around customers wanting USDC, it looked, at least from this vantage.
So we have the tight-lippedness, but you see the head up and down movement. He's still loose. So this tight-lippedness is him trying to be polite and not speak out of turn. It's like, all right, he's waiting politely.
Vantage point that what was happening here could have been avoided if, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, you allowed customers to deposit and hold USDC instead of what it looked like was that you auto-converted them into your own exchange dollar. Am I wrong?
There's minor corrections. So number one is we do the auto-conversion into BUSD, which is not issued by us, which is not the exchange dollar. It's actually issued by a New York DYF licensed entity, Paxos. So the reserves are in New York. It's a stable coin.
And again, as he sits there and tries to explain why they converted into this BUSD, I'm not seeing deception. It is as it is.
The problem we had before is we have many different types of stable coins on Binance. And, Bitcoin trades against USDC, Bitcoin trades against BUSD, and the USDT, there's TUSD, there's a bunch of other things. And then it's very difficult for users to find the best price. So we said, okay, they're all stable coins and they should convert one-to-one. So let's combine all of them into one so that the users just they want to buy Bitcoin, they go to Bitcoin BUSD and they find it. On the deposit and withdrawal, we do the conversion. We have channels to convert them one-to-one. But the channels we have actually have to go through a bank because to convert from BUSD to USDC, we have to sell BUSD into US dollars, cash in a bank, move it to a different bank account, and then buy USDC at a different institution. So that day, we had more users trying to buy or trying to deposit BUSD and withdrawing USDC. And we ran out of that. And the bank that does the conversion doesn't open until 6 hours later. And that's a bank in New York. So we're
Again, I can't see deception here. He's just telling you the truth. And at this point, it's just boring. But there's another spot in here, and I couldn't find the video of high quality, so deal with the Twitter version.
CZ, the other thing I wanted to ask you about, and this relates to FTX. Yesterday, Kevin O'Leary testified in front of the Senate, and he was asked where did the money go, meaning the FTX money. And he suggested that one place that the money may have gone is, in fact, to you. When Sam Bankman-Fried, back in the summer of 21, effectively bought out your stake in the company. How concerned are you that that money will be clawed back? Are you prepared to hand it back to creditors if, in fact, they were to ask? And was it paid to you in U.S. dollars, in some other kind of currency?
Well, first of all, I think Calvin O'Leary, he's making a bunch of nonsense claims, and they don't make sense. They don't make any logic. He shouldn't be making those claims as a celebrity investor. I'm actually very surprised that he's able to omit a lot of different things and make some really specific.
He's actually not quite tight on this. I would say he's stressed because the body still moves. He's still talking with his body, but you see a slight stiffness. It's like it would be like a sticky door. It swings. It just doesn't swing smoothly. So it's like, oh, there's some stress there, but not like, oh my God. It's a weird kind of stress, especially when you're talking about someone who should be insignificant to you.
Targeted things. For example, in that interview with you guys, that in the same interview, he said the entire record from his account on FTX, the entire records are gone. He's not concerned about that. He just picks up the phone and calls SBF. He's not concerned about the fact that the platform records for users are gone. He's not concerned about other users. How many people can pick up the phone and call SBF? And he says he was talking with SBF up until the point that SBF was arrested.
Yeah,
that's an indicator of a very special relationship.
Yeah, I see your point, and I don't think the problems that existed at FTX were simply any back and forth between your two firms. It definitely led to the disclosure that there had been money that was taken, but that disclosure raises lots of questions about firms like yours. Have you done the same? Has there ever been commingled funds? Have you ever taken any of the...
He really can't control himself with her. He wants to be polite, but he doesn't have the control in that mouth to try and keep it tight-lipped. He just keeps it moves, it comes closed because she's still talking. It moves, it becomes closed again.
Let's go just back to the specifics here. In 21, Sam Bankman-Fried said that he bought you out, your stake in the company. I imagine he transferred funds to you, likely somewhere between $2 and $3 billion. Is that right?
I remember it was $2.1 billion at the time. And a big chunk of that is in FTT tokens, which are now worthless.
So he sent you
which are now worthless. His mouth kind of gapes open there for a moment, and then it goes tight-lipped like, no hard swallowed on this, just a holding back. That was really dumb. I have worthless tokens. FTT
tokens, and you believe that the majority of the $2.1 billion was that?
It's a combination of, I believe was
So we see a quick brain surge of visuals. So this is not something he made up.
A combination of BUSD, BNB, and FTT. I don't know the exact combination now, but it's probably about, I don't remember exactly, but FTT is a big chunk.
That's a whole lot of honesty. Appropriate brain searches, bodies loose.
And that's why we still had even after the FTT price dropped over the last year, we still had $500 million worth of it. $580 million worth of it on the day when we transferred from the address we received a year and a half ago. We never touched it. We actually kind of forgot about it. And then we transferred it on the blockchain from that address we received to Binance.com, and that got picked up by the community. So in this industry, everything's very transparent.
Well, but my question to you is, both a bankruptcy judge and potentially others could seek, like they did in the case of Bernie Madoff, frankly, to seek to claw back that money. Are you prepared?
So he's smiling on this one, and I could kind of see why, because it'd be like, sure, you can have what he gave me, FTT tokens.
to send that money to them. And by the way, I mean, and maybe this is a risk to your firm. You know, some will measure it as the value of FTT today. Some may measure it on the value of FTT at the time. So if you had to send a check in U.S. dollars.
Does not like that one. That one, the face starts to fall in a frown. So yeah, you can have the FTT that he gave me. No, I'm not giving you anything extra.
For $2.1 billion, could you?
So I think we'll leave that to the lawyers. I think our legal team is perfectly capable of handling it. My expectation.
And there you have it. Episode 2 of Skinwalker Ranch has been released. And as we follow along with the reality of it, is it real or is it not? This time, supposedly, they saw something.
Oh, there it is again. There it is again. There it is again.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.